hope this works this time. I'm gonna play it on my phone just to make sure it's all zoomed in. Everything's good. Hope this works this time. Alright, we good. We good. I just recorded 2 hours worth of video. None of it recorded on StreamYard. Just the audio didn't record. I screen shared, but the audio didn't record. Give me 1 second to get my charger for my laptop, and we will start this reaction. Alright, we're back. We're ready to go. Audio's good. Let me make sure video's good. We'll start this reaction. Alright, we good. Again, I recorded a 2-hour video on StreamYard. The audio just didn't capture. But I lived in Thailand for a year. And this is just a reaction of the King of Thailand. And this is from Anomaly Documentaries. And I put their link in the description. And I just want to see you guys' reaction to this. So let's start from the beginning. Let's go.
This is Vajiralongkorn, the King of Thailand. He is the richest monarch in the world with a personal wealth of up to $70 billion, far exceeding that of even the British royal family. He's also an extremely eccentric ruler who demands complete fealty from his subjects, struts around Germany with his mistresses while wearing crop tops, and once made his dog Fufu an air chief marshal in the Thai military. Needless to say, Vajiralongkorn has lived a storied life full of privilege and power, to the point where saying anything that can be considered insulting against him can lead to a long...
So that's why I'm creating this video. Many people think that Thailand's a paradise, and I'm just here to tell you that it's not. Because if you talk about this king, you get 43 years in jail. If you step on the currency with his face, straight to jail. People talk about Thailand being a land of smiles, a land of freedom, and I don't want to diminish the fact that it's a beautiful country. But, you know, here in America, if you were to talk about Trump, if you were to post "fuck Trump" on Facebook, you're not going to jail. In Thailand, if you were to do the same thing, you'll see later on in this video that one person, well, it's right here. He got 43 years in jail. It was cut down to 15. I'll just cut the video a little short. But, you know, land of freedom, land of smiles is not free when you can be jailed for talking about a person. I mean, of course, it's a king, but it's not free.
Sentence in a Thai prison. Of course, finding information critical of Vajiralongkorn is a difficult and risky task, but a rewarding one that gives insight into just how wild the lives of despotic elites can get. Today on Anomaly, we're going to do just that. Maha Vajiralongkorn, later given the title Rama X, was born in 1952 to King Bhumibol the Great and his consort Sirikit, the second of 4 children and the couple's only son. He was apparently named for his predecessors Rama IV and Rama V, and his name in Thai means adorned with jewels or thunderbolts. His father Bhumibol was considered almost godlike and continues to be highly revered by the Thai people, especially when compared to Vajiralongkorn himself. He began schooling at the age of 4 at the prestigious Chitralada school. Vajiralongkorn was indulged at every opportunity as a boy, making it no surprise that he would grow up with somewhat of a tyrannical streak. He himself recounted that he couldn't even tie his own shoes by the age of 12, as there was always...
So I said this in the other video, but what privilege you have not to even have the ability to tie your shoes because you have a servant to do that for you. Love to live that life.
someone around to do it for him. In the book The Revolutionary King, author William Stevenson recounts the following episode from Vajiralongkorn's youth. Quote, "He defied a reprimand from a courtier by saying, 'Don't talk like that to your future king.' King Bhumipal tanned his son's backside with the reminder, 'You're not the 10th Rama yet.' Nevertheless, Vajiralongkorn's mother doted on him with nothing but praise and affection, often to the dismay of her husband. As with many children of the elite, Vajiralongkorn was educated abroad throughout his high school years.
And this is my problem. My kids will have an American education. They will be indoctrinated in American culture. And I'm not sending my kids to Oxford or to somewhere overseas to get their education, especially when, this is your country, Thailand's so great. Why not just get your education in one of Thailand's many great universities? One I stayed near called Ramkhamhaeng, which is I think it's the biggest university in Thailand, but I digress. It's a good school.
Though never the highest achieving student, he was sent to Australia in 1972 to complete his bachelor's degree and to receive military training.
Since I was a little boy, I always played soldier, and then I was brought up that way.
He later learned how to fly planes and helicopters and was trained in unconventional warfare techniques across the West. Indeed, piloting aircrafts would prove to be one of the restless royal's favorite hobbies throughout his life, and he even earned his wings as a commercial pilot later on. Still, anonymous classmates of Vajiralongkorn describe him as, quote, "panda-like and slothful," and, quote, "very soft, pudgy, and overweight." Regarding his temper,
and this is all of him being a prince. He's not the king of Thailand yet.
A former roommate once had this to say, quote, "His joviality could quickly boil to manic pitch. In the dormitory would often be rudely awoken in the small hours by his sudden melodramatic cackling, as though he had just dreamt up a scheme of bloody revenge and mayhem on those who had crossed it." He had a hard time making friends owing to his sense of entitlement, and although he apparently tried his hardest during his years at the college, it is said that he didn't actually earn a diploma. Vajiralongkorn himself admitted he was a poor student and that he very nearly failed military college, saying that his pampered upbringing is what held him back. Behind his back, the prince was sometimes referred to as Ai Tum by Thai intellectuals, a nickname equivalent to calling him a moron.
This is as a child.
In his book, The King Never Smiles, journalist Paul M. Hanley argued that Vajiralongkorn's eldest sister, Ubal Ratana, was the king's preferred choice to ascend the throne, though traditionally women were restricted from holding this position.
And there has never been a queen in the monarchy's history of Thailand. Also, Thailand's monarchy is the richest in the world, with it estimating the king's wealth to be around 30 billion US dollars. Basically it could be between 40 to 45, basically off papers.
He even had palace rules changed to allow for a female regent to take over. Any hope of her becoming queen, however, was dashed by her involvement with an American she met while studying abroad, for which her outraged parents...
So again, my kids will go to American school to get indoctrinated into American culture. I'm not sending them overseas to get an education. The person who was supposed to rule Thailand was supposed to be this woman, and she went overseas and she fell in love with an American. Go figure.
Parents could never forgive her. Instead, she renounced her titles and moved to the States where she had a family. This made it inevitable that the crown would eventually pass to her brother. Rumored by the public to be a womanizer with a gambling addiction, Vajiralongkorn was often viewed by the people as an unworthy successor to his father's legacy. But gossiping about the prince's conduct could come at a heavy price for Thai citizens. The country has some of the strictest laws about criticizing the monarchy in the world, with even minor insults resulting in lengthy prison sentences. Behind closed doors, however, King Bhumipal stewed about his predicament. He supposedly grumbled to confidants about how his spoiled son was damaging the reputation of the family.
This is as a prince. This isn't as a king. And his father was with one woman throughout his tenure as king. And, these are the words of his father.
Upon returning home,
Also, his father, from my knowledge of me being in Thailand, was very revered and is known to be, the people's king, not this new king.
to Thailand, the prince gave himself further over to luxury, keeping a stable of yes-men around to cater to his every whim. He courted unscrupulous tycoons who could secure him the most beautiful women, and employed several strong men who roughed up his enemies and critics on a whim.
So how did the monarchy obtain all this wealth? 30 billion would it be on paper dollars is acquired by the Thai monarchy. How did he get his wealth? Well, 5 minutes in, it's shown that he was basically shaking down businesses and his own people for his wealth.
This only further tarnished his family's reputation, which Vajiralongkorn's father had been so careful to build up throughout his reign. In the midst of his military and post-secondary education in the early 70s, Vajiralongkorn was formally named Crown Prince. Within 5 years, Vajiralongkorn had established multiple Crown Prince hospitals in
So he wasn't even the prince yet. Now he's the prince. Okay, let's move forward.
remote parts of Thailand, though how much involvement he really had is unclear. In 1978, he spent 15 days living the ascetic life of a Buddhist monk, as was customary for Thai royalty. This practice was meant to humble future rulers and to prepare them as the kingdom's divine, spiritual, and cultural custodian. It is doubtful Vajiralongkorn ever intended to continue practicing this kind of restraint, however, owing to his hedonistic tendencies. At the insistence of his mother, Vajiralongkorn married his first cousin, Somsawali, in 19...
So he married his first cousin. It's weird to me, but I understand it because most royals want to keep it in the family. So it's understanding, but here in America, if you marry your cousin, you're a weirdo.
1977, and the couple had their first and only child the following year. He never wanted this for himself, but buckled under pressure from the Queen. Apparently, Vajiralongkorn moved out while Somsawali was pregnant, so he could more...
Red flag number one. Has a wife, has a kid, he moves out.
Independently enjoy the nightlife scene, without the constrictions of his wife and family. True to the rumors, the prince fooled around with socialites and actresses throughout the marriage, although the couple remained married for at least 14 years. He had 5 more children with his favorite mistress, Sujarani, during his first marriage, marrying her just 3 years after.
Red flag number 2. He moves out, starts another family. Okay, you're royal. You're in a royal family. You're the prince. You could do what you want. But this is red flag number 2.
Divorcing Somsawali in the 1990s.
What are the personal pressures on you in your role as Crown Prince?
I don't know what it's like because I have been born the first second of my life. I'm a prince. It's difficult to say what is it like to be a fish when you are a fish, or what is it like to be a bird when you're a bird. If you go and ask them, it's difficult because they don't know what it's like not to be a fish or a bird. In every life, I believe that there are pressures and there are stress and there are problems, and this is one kind of problem you have. It is the same as everybody. There are pros and cons, and there are advantage, disadvantage, and all sort of things.
Vajiralongkorn became increasingly belligerent throughout his 20s, shaking down businessmen with the help of his highly trained squad of goons. It's thought he amassed considerable personal wealth this way.
So how did the monarchy get money? How did he become the richest monarch? By taking from his own people. Red flag number 3.
His haughty behavior didn't go unnoticed by the Thai nobility. Years later, a Scottish journalist named Andrew McGregor Marshall wrote that, quote, "During the 1970s and 1980s, the elite's hatred of Vajiralongkorn was further fueled by his habit of preying on their daughters."
Red flag. Are we on 3? We on 3. So he was preying on the daughters of his people.
In a throwback to the days of old Siam, in which kings and princes had scores of wives and concubines, Vajiralongkorn became notorious for summoning attractive, high-born young women to his palace. The extent to which it happened remains unclear, but it was a source of profound anger and anxiety among the Thai elite, many of whom sent their daughters overseas to be educated specifically to escape the prince's attentions. Vajiralongkorn's antics proved a consistent blight on the family's sacred name. The king's solution was to send him off to America for yet more military training. This time, however, Vajiralongkorn traded his earnest attempts at engagement for outright disobedience. Nevertheless, Vajiralongkorn delighted in learning how to fly fighter jets, seeing himself as something of a maverick in the skies. Meanwhile, Vajiralongkorn's wife and mistress competed for his affections. Paul M. Hanley wrote that he apparently appeased them both by buying them fancy vehicles. But soon, domestic troubles for the Thai government and its royal family would temporarily distract the masses from the king's ongoing problem of wrangling the prince. Amid the personal turmoil of the Thai royals, numerous coup attempts have been made throughout the 1970s, each failing to secure the full support of the military.
So, when you have a coup d'etat, it's because the people of a country are not happy. Of course, these coups d'etats were unsuccessful because they didn't get the support of the military. I'm saying the same thing that they said, just dumbing it down a little bit. Without the military support, you can't overthrow. But the people were angered with this guy.
A 1981 insurrection in Bangkok by a group of idealistic junior officers saw some success, but was put down through the joint efforts of the Prime Minister and King Bhumibol. This resulted in further democratization of Thailand, for which the king was lauded as a more progressive monarch than his forebears. Throughout late 1981, Vajiralongkorn's mother, Queen Sirikit, gave a handful of interviews to American and British media, allowing Westerners a rare glimpse into a world they knew so little about. She had quite a bit to say about her own son's performance as a royal. Quote, "In his job as a career military man, he's doing quite well. But for the Crown Prince of Thailand, not so well, because..."
Red flag number 4. Your mom is saying, hey, you did good in the military, but as far as a leader, not so much.
I think that he does not give enough time to his people. The Queen believed part of the problem was that Vajiralongkorn demanded weekends off from being prince. But she conceded, quote, "The royal family belongs to the people of Thailand, and that if he could not carry out his responsibilities adequately, he should resign." She went on to confirm his lecherous tendencies in an interview with the Dallas Times-Herald. Quote, "I have to be very frank. My son, the Crown Prince, is a little bit of a Don Juan. He is a good student, a good boy, but women find him interesting, and he finds women even more interesting. So, his family life is not so smooth." These interviews were ironically banned in Thailand due to the publication laws that protect the image of the monarchy. U.S. intelligence confirmed everything that was alluded to, however, with a former UN official chiming in with the following, quote, "He appears to lack the intelligence, charisma, and common touch necessary to secure the affection of the Thai people for the Chakri dynasty, and reportedly only has lukewarm support with..."
So this is coming from U.S. intelligence. There is a problem when U.S. intelligence is concerned with a person that has nothing to do with our own country.
Than the Thai military. Vajiralongkorn's arrogance followed him onto diplomatic missions as well, often to the detriment of the royal family. He made waves during a 1987 visit to Japan, where he cut his visit short due to a few perceived slights. At one point, one of his Japanese chauffeurs had to stop along the side of the road to go to the bathroom, which the government claimed was due to illness. Vajiralongkorn also wasn't satisfied with the chairs he was given, complaining that he had to bend over to reach things at times. For this and more, the Thai government demanded an apology from the Japanese, later retracting this in the interest of maintaining diplomatic ties. Later that year, it seemed Vajiralongkorn was learning the importance of appearing modest. He talked up his father's accomplishments and even made visits to some of Thailand's poorest villages, giving a sense of concern for the common man. When asked about his public image, Vajiralongkorn deftly responded with the following, quote, "Some people like me, some people don't. Wherever you go, there is gossip. If you are busy with gossip, you don't have to work. Those who gossip, if they want to know the truth, if they ask me and they have a pure heart and come to ask about the truth, I would respect them." This implied a more contemplative side to what Vajiralongkorn was forming, one that was more worthy of his father's title. But this more carefully cultivated image would soon prove to be a ruse. After all, Vajiralongkorn's most outrageous days were yet to come. Though most of Vajiralongkorn's first marriage was overshadowed by his affair with Sujarani, he wasn't able to divorce Somsawali until 1993. He argued that his estranged wife...
So again, his father was the people's king, Rama IX. He had one marriage throughout his tenure, and this guy has divorced his first wife and now has fallen in love with his mistress.
Wife was entirely at fault for their marriage failing, stating that amongst other things, she spent too much time playing ping pong.
Red flag number 5. He said that his wife spent too much time playing ping pong. I hope to have those problems one day. Hey, you playing too much ping pong, baby. You need to be focused on me. You dig?
Somsawali couldn't dispute this due to the laws prohibiting criticism of the royal family. This widely publicized dissolution of his marriage revived the notion that Vajiralongkorn was simply not fit for royal life. And so, rumors began swirling again about the prince's involvement in shady business dealing, alleging that he had the national lottery fixed and that he had the hours extended at the nation's notorious massage parlors. Biting back against these claims, Vajiralongkorn complained that he was, quote, hurt and disheartened. Speaking directly to his accusers, he said, quote, "Do I look like a mafia boss type? I tell you, if I were, I would have been a millionaire by now. I don't understand why whenever anything goes wrong, it is always linked to me." Vajiralongkorn married his long...
But ain't that a crazy statement? Anything goes wrong in the country, you the prince of the country, it's always to you. I wonder why.
...time mistress Sujarani in 1994. In the midst of this, Vajiralongkorn took another consort, much to Sujarani's chagrin. She had always known that he was a player, but so long as they didn't move into the palace, she turned a blind eye.
So his mistress said, "I'm cool with you cheating, just don't bring him to the house."
When Vajiralongkorn attempted to change this part of their agreement, Sujarani threatened to kill herself. Things apparently smoothed out between the two, and Vajiralongkorn asked his father to recognize her as the future queen of Thailand. King Bhumipal agreed on one condition. His son would have to renounce his hedonistic lifestyle and fully submit himself to a life of penance as an ordained monk. Of course, this didn't sit well with the prince. He remained mostly out of the public eye over the next few months, as did his new wife. She had apparently moved to England with the kids while they attended school. Under heavy scrutiny themselves, it was once alleged that the sons were caught with drugs, though this was merely hearsay. Apparently, Sujarani had also shacked up with a Thai Air Force Marshal while in England, which in...
Now this is allegedly, but you're the prince of Thailand. Your wife goes to England, goes to Europe, and while in Europe, she shacks up with a military officer from your country.
Infuriated her husband. To retaliate, Vajiralongkorn had posters put up in the royal palace accusing his wife of adultery. He also had all of her clothing dumped in the street.
Red flag number 5. He found out she was cheating. He threw her clothes out on the street.
By 1996, their marriage was all but over. The prince supposedly consulted a fortune teller who encouraged him to have his second daughter kidnapped and returned to Thailand.
Red flag number 6. Why you got a fortune teller? And why did your fortune teller tell you to kidnap your own daughter?
She had carried out. Though one might expect his daughter would hate him for the kidnapping, it was quite the opposite. She soon purchased him a small dog named Fufu, who instantly became a favorite of the prince. As for his sons, it seems they have continued to support their mother, and accordingly have been disowned by Vajiralongkorn. In a display of petty revenge, Vajiralongkorn nearly caused an international incident when Japanese officials visited the country for a summit in 1996. Whereas his father warmly received his guests, Vajiralongkorn decided it was appropriate to block the Japanese Prime Minister's plane with a trio of fighter jets led personally by the prince, leading to a 20-minute standoff before he decided to let them pass.
So we saw earlier that, basically because his chair didn't fit him the way that he liked, that they had a run-in. He had a run-in with the Japanese political party or politicians, and now they met again, and they're trying to leave. They finish their meeting. He pulls up with fighter jets and blocks them from leaving. He didn't fire upon them. He didn't do anything. Just imagine me pulling out my gun on you and being like, yeah, I'm gonna use it, but not doing anything. Just a show of force.
His point had been made, to the embarrassment of both countries. The issue was quietly forgotten about, though the king was likely not happy about his son's display. Questions about corruption were raised in 2001 when Vajiralongkorn was gifted an expensive sports car from the Prime Minister of Thailand.
Alright, so now into just facts about Thailand. So it is a monarchy, but here in America we have a democracy and we have a president. Our president is Donald Trump. Thailand basically has a president, just named a different title, which is a prime minister. The prime minister gifted the Thai king, Thai prince, a sports car. So I'm just telling you that Thailand has a king and also has a prime minister.
That same year, the crown prince married his third wife, a commoner named Sri Rasmi. A clandestine video was taken during her 30th birthday party. In it, Sri Rasmi could be seen topless while feeding Fufu the dog cake. Though scandalous, this video wouldn't be seen until it was leaked years later. Fufu had supposedly been promoted to Air Chief Marshal of the Royal Thai Air Force.
Red flag number 6. He appointed a dog as the chief of the Royal Thai Air Force. This is usually occupied by a man. He appointed the dog as the chief.
Months before the video was taken. The former U.S. ambassador of Thailand confirmed that Fufu accompanied the royal couple to a party at his home months later, decked out in custom canine formal wear. Vajiralongkorn's son and new heir apparent, Dapangkorn, was born 4 years later. That same year, it was learnt that Fufu the dog had participated in the Thailand Grand Pet Show, where he performed tricks to adoring crowds. This was a point of pride for the decadent, though stern, Vajiralongkorn. WikiLeaks sources from the U.S. government confirmed that Vajiralongkorn was enabled throughout most of his life by his mother Sirikit, up to and including her arranging a 2003 meeting in Washington, D.C. to show the Thai people his statesman qualities. But when nude images of his third wife and the video from her birthday party leaked online around 2007, the Queen had finally had enough. She angrily unleashed on her son a barrage of complaints about his conduct.
So we already seen that his father has, basically let him do what he does. But his mother supported him for his tenure as prince. And, basically turned on him and said, I don't support what you're doing.
Never one to be told off, Vajiralongkorn snapped back at her until the two were in a full-blown screaming match in front of her aides. This was, of course, kept quiet. Meanwhile, rumors about his health were becoming more common in political circles, with many believing the prince suffered from a blood disease like hepatitis C, cancer, or most likely HIV.
So there is an outbreak in Thailand, specifically in Chiang Mai, but it is a problem that is prevalent throughout the country of HIV. And I'm going to do a separate video on that. But it's not looking good for the guy. I mean, we are what? We're almost done. Got about 10 minutes left, 11 minutes. But, you know, he hasn't even became king yet. And there's allegations, only allegations, that he is contracted HIV.
At one point, it was even thought Vajiralongkorn died of AIDS while in Europe, though obviously this was not the case.
Thailand's Princess Sri Rasmi has announced she will renounce her royalty and will not become queen when her husband ascends the throne. Her family is under a cloud of scandal and corruption allegations, but the decision will mean divorce, and the royal household has already said the crown prince will take custody of the future heir to the throne.
The BBC reported that Vajiralongkorn turned on Sri Rasmi and her family in 2014, removing their royal titles after having several of them charged with abusing their positions. Her parents were given 5-year prison sentences.
Red flag number 6. He had a beef with his mistress turned wife. He sent his wife's parents to prison,
which were later cut in half. Sri Rasmi herself was banished from the royal palace
and she had her head shaven. This is a woman.
Forbidden from returning. Vajiralongkorn had his fortune teller arrested on the same charge the following year, who died while in custody.
Come on now. It's 8. The fortune teller got sent to prison. The fortune teller. And died in prison.
BBC went on to say that his bodyguard disappeared after being dropped in rank for supposedly disobeying the prince. Amid this apparent cleaning of house, tragedy befell Vajiralongkorn in early 2015. Fufu the dog had died. The prince had 4 days of
R.I.P. Fufu. That dog ain't do nothing to nobody.
The Buddhist death rites arranged, culminating in the pooch's cremation. Reactions online were a mix of genuine sympathy and coded mockery. As his father advanced in age, Vajiralongkorn was seen in more public settings, usually flanked by help from the military. Together, they planned events like bicycle rides to warm the people up to the prince. But Vajiralongkorn counterintuitively made headlines once again when he was photographed abroad.
Red flag number 9. What's up with dog in his crop top? The tattoos is cool, but that's a training bra.
Abroad in a crop top with his girlfriend Suthida, covered in what appeared to be temporary tattoos.
So, they're not even real tattoos. I gave him credit. The tattoos are cool, and they not even real. And they matching. Like, his crop top is even tighter than hers. Like, he is matching crop tops. And this ain't even a crop top. Like, we wear crop tops in the States. Nah, not really. I call them, we wear tank tops. And they're called something else that I won't say. But that's a training, bro.
This was used as yet more proof of the prince's unworthiness when King Bhumipal died on October 13th, 2016. Now nothing could stop the imminent.
So his father passed, and now he is about to become king.
Transfer of power. After requesting his mourning period be extended, Vajiralongkorn assumed the Thai throne on December 1st, 2016, becoming Rama X.
และของแผ่นดินโดยทำเพื่อประโยชน์สุขแห่งอาณาราษฎรตลอดไป
A video of Thailand's new king strolling through a German shopping mall in his...
So it's red flag number 10. We seen the white crop top, okay. You know, it's a one-time thing. It's all good. Do you? But the yellow crop top, the same style? With the removable tattoos? Is this your king?
Tank top and temporary tattoos went viral in 2017. He had apparently been a frequent visitor of the area over the past decade, with one rumor being he had sought treatment for his unknown illnesses at a local medical spa. The previous year, Vajiralongkorn purchased a villa in a nearby Bavarian village. Journalist Richard Bernstein wrote that after taking the throne, Vajiralongkorn had pushed through a number of bills expanding his power, with one in particular letting him continue to rule from abroad. This
red flag number 11. You're the king of Thailand. He basically got the government to say, hey, I want to be, supreme ruler, but I'm a rule over in Germany. You are the king. You can have everything, anything in your country, and you decide to move to another country. Why? Because Thailand wasn't fitting for the king.
Meant he could spend as much time in Germany as he wanted to without needing to appoint a regent in his place. One exiled scholar said of the king, quote, "He is basically running the country now, though he is not doing that like his father did through moral authority. He's using fear to solidify his position and to take command."
Hold on. Red flag number 12. So we had the white one, we had the yellow one, now we got the black one. I don't see any temporary tattoos. There might be one right there, but like crop tops, like come on.
Through moral authority. He's using fear to solidify his position and to take command. This was evident in the numerous instances of citizens being jailed for insulting the monarchy, including one 34-year-old given a 35-year sentence.
Now imagine you're 34 years old and you get 35, red flag number 13. You get 35 years at 34 for making a Facebook post. Like I said, we take a lot of things for granted in America. I could post right now on Facebook, fuck Trump, and there's many people who support that sentiment. But for a citizen of the country to be 34 and to be jailed for 35 years is crazy. Let's do the math. He was 34, 35 years. So he would get out at 69. You think that's fair?
For Facebook posts disparaging the royal family. As with Sri Rasmi's parents, his sentence was cut in half because of his confession.
So that's the thing in Thailand too. Like, if you confess, if you say, yeah, I did it, they'll usually cut you down to half. He still had to do 15, so let's do 69 minus 15. So he still got out at 54. That's 15 years for a Facebook post. It's a human rights violation.
Though the UN warned that these could be considered crimes against humanity, Vajiralongkorn continued to press ahead with persecuting those who mocked him. In an apparent consolidation of power, Vajiralongkorn had two branches of the military transferred to his direct control. He then had them equipped with anti-riot gear and a fleet of helicopters. Spectators saw this as a means of the king making himself appear invincible. Vajiralongkorn took Suthida as his fourth wife in 2019.
Again, father had one woman, and it was said previously in the video that many other Thai royalty have been polyamorous, and that's okay. But your father being the most recent king and you are on your fourth wife, and it's not even having multiple wives. They do it in Africa, they do it all over the world, they do it a lot in Arabic countries as well. It's just how you left them, you know what I mean?
Just days before his formal coronation ceremony. The ceremony saw the king receive all kinds of fancy gifts, like a 9-tier umbrella. Ceremony saw the...
Look how mad. She look happy. Oh my
king receive all kinds of fancy gifts, like a 9-tier umbrella, a Siamese cat, and even a chicken. The festooned event took place against a backdrop of renewed calls for government reformation, first against the president, but with focus later shifting to Vajiralongkorn himself. Despite this unprecedented demand for change, the king wasn't without his share of loyalists who would shower him with their affections during public appearances. Still, Vajiralongkorn was notably reluctant to acknowledge this growing swath of opponents when interviewed by international media.
Your Majesty, sir, these people love you, but what do you say to the protesters who've been on the streets who want reform?
I have no comment. We love them all the same. We love them all the same.
Is that true? You love them all the same, but you jail them for talking about you? Seems pretty soft to me.
We love them all the same.
Is there any room for compromise, sir?
Thank you. Oh, Thailand is a land of compromise.
Okay.
How is Thailand a land of compromise when you jailing people for talking about you?
Months later, yet another one of the king's mistresses, named Saninat, made headlines when she was shown in official images to be piloting a plane in a crop top. This apparently crashed the palace website. The promotion of Saninat to official royal concubine marked the first time in over a century that a Thai monarch was acknowledged as polygamous. Around this time, it was reported that Vajiralongkorn had been spending the first time in over a century that a Thai monarch was acknowledged as polygamous.
So I was wrong. They were saying that Thai royalty were polygamous 100 years before this guy. Like I said, his father was not, but he was. This is his fourth wife.
Around this time, it was reported that Vajiralongkorn had been spending much of his time with her at his $13 million residence in Munich. As with most of his former lovers, Saninat too eventually found herself in the king's crosshairs by late 2019. Vajiralongkorn had her stripped of all royal titles and privileges, this time alleging she had been unfaithful to him and that she was trying to raise her role as consort to being equal of his queen.
So this is the second time of unfaithfulness. I mean, when your chick is cheating on you constantly, maybe you got bad luck, but it's usually a you problem.
The royal court considered this ambition to be disrespectful, and that Saninat had been acting inappropriately. In reporting this, the BBC noted that the king's previous wife, Sri Rasmi, had not made a public appearance following.
And this is his third, one of them wives shaved her bald for the disrespect.
Following his decree that she be removed from the court. Later it was revealed that Saninat's whereabouts were unknown at the time, with speculation being she was thrown in jail. In the meantime, the king oversaw a massive construction project on the royal palace, which was believed to be another flex of his far-reaching power. After 10 months in prison, Saninat was back in the king's good graces. She was released and given back all of her titles and roles. It is unknown why she was allowed back into the palace or why the king had an uncharacteristic change of heart. The king's belief in his own superiority followed him onto his frequent visits to Germany, which he insisted on keeping up with during the global pandemic. With protests about the monarchy's role ramping up over the past few years, major German newspapers were beginning to wonder why exactly he was so intent on ruling from afar.
So, this is just the German media saying, we got the king of Thailand living over here for long periods of time. Why don't you just go back to Thailand? You're a king, for God's sakes. I wanted to pause on that Grand Palace picture, but it's a Grand Palace. I spent a month in Bangkok and I actually went to the Grand Palace. It's huge, tons of security, a beautiful place, and there are many historical sites in Thailand that are beautiful. But I would say, I mean, the palace is decked out in gold. You know what I mean? Like, why Germany? Thailand's number one. Why live in Germany?
One such paper wrote that, quote, Monarchy critics in Germany have sent a petition to Chancellor Angela Merkel and Foreign Minister Heiko Maas asking them to declare the Thai king persona non grata. The Daily Mail wrote that the king was accompanied by up to 20 mistresses, to whom he gave titles like Beautiful One.
20 mistresses. Must be nice. Hold on. Who said nice?
Asking them to declare the Thai king persona. One such paper wrote that, quote, Monarchy critics in Germany have sent a petition to Chancellor Angela Merkel and Foreign Minister Heiko Maas asking them to declare the Thai king persona non grata.
So these are people in Germany saying, please tell immigration not to let him in. But he's a king. You can't stop him.
The Daily Mail wrote that the king was accompanied by up to 20 mistresses, to whom he gave titles like Beautiful One Who Will Be Faithful. Controversy arose when an alpine resort was caught booking out its 4th floor to the king and his guests. The hotel had previously refused to rent rooms to ordinary guests at the height of the pandemic. Apparently, Vajiralongkorn had skipped the anniversary of his own coronation back home in Thailand to stay in Germany.
So the coronation is basically like, basically like a birthday for the king, not his actual birthday, I believe. And this is just, I'm not sure if this is actually correct. I'll look it up while the video plays. But they're basically they threw him a celebration. No matter what the celebration was for, they threw him a celebration. He's in Germany.
Some German politicians also began asking why the king was spending so much time in their country, with one MP saying, quote, conducting official state affairs in Thailand while living in Germany is not permissible. Whereas others planned further investigations into the king's erratic behavior, the German government confirmed it was aware of his presence, and that it was satisfied with assurances that Vajiralongkorn would not rule from Germany. He spent much of 2021 back home in Thailand, with some German newspapers expressing doubts that
so he went back home.
The monarch would ever return. In early 2020,
a Thai coronation celebrates the monarch being formally consecrated and publicly installed as king. So basically celebrating him as a king. He said, nah, I'm cool. Germany's better. I don't care about my own party back home. I'm just about to chill in Germany.
It was reported by Thailand's Royal Household Bureau that the king's younger sister, Sri Rintorn, had broken her ankle while out on a morning walk. Andrew McGregor Marshall, however, knew that there was something fishy about the story. According to his sources in Thailand, the king attacked his sister either by jumping on her or striking her with his cane.
So I lost count of the red flags. So you think we have 14 or so. But I mean, this is his own sister. And this is allegations. This never surfaced to be true or not true. But with all the other red flags, we're at 14 or 15 now. Do you believe this to be untrue or crazy to believe that he would jump on his own sister? And again, she left. She went to America, started a family there. I guess she moved back at some point. Because, I mean, that's just what's the problem, with red flag number 14. You're Thailand's king. You're the representation of opulence and wealth. And you take that wealth that you've shaken down businessmen and all this stuff, and you go to Germany.
This apparently happened after an argument over whether he could take another queen. Details about the incident were kept hush-hush, of course, over fears of retribution by the monarchy. Later in 2021, amid ongoing anti-monarch protests, Vajiralongkorn returned to Germany despite previous warnings from the government not to rule from abroad.
So what did we just say? They was on his ass and said, hey, don't be king and be ruling here in Germany. He went back home. Then he went right back to Germany.
The German tabloid Bild reported that the king had booked out an entire floor of an airport hotel to host himself and his 250-person party, along with his 30 poodles. A reporter for the paper claimed that the king's security, along with hotel management, demanded he delete any photos of the king or his entourage. When he refused on the basis of free speech, the reporter called for police to escort him to his vehicle, while the king's security watched.
So even in Germany, he's ruling with an iron fist. He said, hey, you take a picture of me, you out of here. And this ain't in Thailand. This is in Germany. And they have free speech just like we do here in America. But the people of Thailand are oppressed because you say something about your leader, who's wearing crop tops in different colors all over the world, mostly in Germany, you jail for 15 years. Well, reduced to 15 years. He actually got 35.
2022 marked the 7th year of Vajiralongkorn's reign, starting off with a fresh international scandal for the embattled king. Although he had only returned to Germany a few months before the new year, Vajiralongkorn faced renewed scrutiny over whether he should have paid the government 30% of his sizable inheritance, as he was effectively a German resident when his father died. According to the news outlet Deutsche Welle, Bavarian tax officials would not confirm or deny if this was the case, owing to privacy laws. Aside from the occasional reports of Thai citizens going to jail for defaming the monarchy, Vajiralongkorn has otherwise had a relatively quiet and scandal-free year up to the time we published this exploration of the man. With the passing of his father in 2016, it appears there may be no one left in Thailand who can hold Vajiralongkorn accountable. Instead, he relies on the strict code of not talking ill about Thai royalty to shield him from criticism. A common worry leading up to his coronation was that since he hadn't matured into an adult by his 50s, it was unlikely he ever would. After all, this is a king who supposedly has the heads shaved of any servant who earns his disfavor. What's poignant about this anomaly is how the very thing which gives Vajiralongkorn such power, that being his immense wealth and no restraint, has been the reason he has never developed into a thoughtful ruler. Like Charlie X, his ability to do anything without consequence seems to have only left him miserable and alone, without so much as the insight to know why he isn't more beloved.
Great video by Anomaly. Here is the video. Here is the channel. But it just gives you perspective, you know. I'm not returning to Thailand. You know why? Because if they'll give 15 years to their own citizen, what would they do to me? But like I said, here in America, we can say whatever we want about the president. And there are other monarchies throughout the world. And I'm sure the same thing would happen to you with less of a penalty or maybe more. But again, I lived in Thailand. It is the land of smiles, but it's also the land of freedom. But how free are you if you talk about the king and you are jailed? How free are you as a people if you can't criticize the person who is affecting your day-to-day life? Now, the prime minister is, and I'm being contradictory, but the prime minister is more in charge of day-to-day operations, and the king is more of a figurehead. But this is, I mean, nobody's really, you know, checking about the prime minister isn't on the currency. The king is, you know what I mean? And there is a law in Thailand, if you step on the currency, you can be jailed. So, like I said, we take for granted our freedoms in America. Thank God I don't live under a monarchy. Thailand is still beautiful. If you go to Phuket, if you go to Krabi, if you go to plenty of places, Koh Phi Phi, if you go to Koh Phangan. I respect the nationalistic approach of Thailand. Foreigners can't own land. Foreigners can't own businesses, which gives more power to the Thais. But what power do you have if you own all the businesses, you own all the land, but if you say something, all that can be taken from you? You know what I mean? It's a beautiful place, and some of the most beautiful places in the world. You know, it's my saying is, some of the most beautiful places hide the most shadiest people. And, this is just one example. But I encourage you to do your own research, do your own travel to Thailand. But do not talk bad about the king and try to return back, because you're going to end up in jail. It's my first reaction. Thank y'all for tuning in, and I'm out.